is Ryan, co-founder of CodeStitch, and in this video, we're going to go over making a whole website using CodeStitch. It just so happens that I have an accountant client that I need to make a website for. So we're going to go over the process from start to finish on how I do things. Since this is a client who I know I'm going to use a certain amount of stitches and I'm not going to tweak the design a lot, I'm not going to do the Figma mock-up for this one. I'm just going to go straight from stitch to code. So the first thing I'm going to do, I go to the resources and I grab my kit. So either you got the SAS kit or the less kit. I use less, so I just use the less kit and I grab the code. I use the clone from HTTPS. I copy this, and then I go into my Visual Studio. I have an empty editor open, so I just go into the Git source control, and I clone repository. So I'm going to paste, clone, and I'm going to put this in here. I'm going to open in here. And now we have the kit. So I'm going to hit Control and tilde. It's that squiggly line to bring up the terminal. And just to show you what a tilde is, that's a tilde, that thing. So hit Control and that thing, and then that'll bring up the terminal. And we're just going to install npm. So npm install. That's what you got to do every time you grab this kit. And then we just do npm start. Cool, and now we're ready to go. So I just hit Control. So now I can click on this link right here. That's my local host. And here's the site. This is, ready to go right out the box. We got our About Us. We got our projects, reviews, blog, contact us, working dark mode. This is a full-fledged, ready-to-go website. And all I do whenever I start a new client is I just edit this. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my code here. So we're going to open up our folders. In the source is where you work out of. Index.html, this is the home page. I'm going to hit Alt-Z so that all of these, it wraps the code. So when I hit Alt-Z again, you see how it kind of goes off to the side, and I got this scroll bar here. Not ideal. So I hit Alt and Z, and that makes it wrap, so it's a lot easier to read. And I'm just going to scroll this down a little bit because I don't need you. So I get my index out, and then I hit Control S to save, and then I look at my assets and my less files, and Index.html has its local.less, so that's one I'm going to save, and I'm going to send you to the right. Well, actually, because I'm doing split screen now, I'm going to send you to the bottom, split down. And I'm also going to add critical.less over here. So I have critical and local. Critical is just the CSS for everything above the fold. So this is above the fold, which is the bottom of the screen. And I use that CSS file for everything up here. And then I lazy load or defer loading the local.css file, which is the CSS for the rest of the page. This improves page speeds. You don't have to load the gigantic CSS file, which if it's big enough, it can be render blocking and throw up a flag in Google PageSpeed Insights. So I break it up. So I got these two open right now because that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be using the home page first. So you can go ahead, you can ignore this right now, and I'm going to start here. And I'm just going to delete everything. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to go all the way down, and we're going to end block. This is a Nunjux templating code for this is like the CTA component, like all the way down here. If I want it on every page and I just want to use the same one over and over again, I just use this. It's the Nunjux and 11t static site generator work together to make these things happen. It's basically like a PHP includes, except it's static. I'm just going to leave this here for now because I don't feel like writing that out again. But when we save, everything is gone except for that CTA component. Now I have my system set up. I have my site ready to go. So let's go to CodeStitch. I'm going to my dashboard, and I have, it was so convenient when I got this because I literally just launched the accountant design packs. So if we go to our dashboard and just type in accountant, we'll have all of the designs that were tagged for accountants. So right away, I know let's start with let's get the hero section. So I'm going to do all, and I'm going to go to the filter here so that I can filter by a tag, which is accountant, and hit enter. So this is going to be all hero section that have the tag of accountant, which means they were made for accountants specifically. So I'm looking at these, and I know I want to have services because I usually do the hero section and then a services section. I think I like the way the overlapping works. And if I look at this is my document here. This is the questionnaire that I sent my client, and these are all of their answers. So I just asked, their top 3 to 4 services for the services section I'm looking for. Any other services they provide that are not included in the top 3 to 4. About them, their story, qualities that separate them from other people, reviews, working on that. And then your top 2 money makers. So we'll have side-by-side sections for these guys. And then we have stats that we can name off, just any information that we can get. Like we have a 3-step process to get started, any pricing. So I have all the information here, and what we're going to do is go through CodeStitch and shop the different stitches based on the information that I have from the client and what I need to display. So I know I need 3 to 4 services, and I have 3 here, but this one is it's very heavy. So I think I'm gonna pick out the 2 best ones out here and just do a 3Z. And I think 4Z. I think I'm gonna do this one because if I can get a good picture of him, but in this kind of like a pose, if I can just get him to do that in front of a white background with a nice iPhone camera, I can use remove.bg to remove that background and just put his picture here instead. So let's get the code for this. I'm going to grab my HTML. This has little notes on here because of the overlapping services section. It's being done with a margin bottom negative value. This is basically telling you on the next section, add a padding top on mobile, add this padding top and tablet, and add this padding top on desktop, so that the services card overlap that extended area from the bottom of the next section. And I'll show you what all that means. So I'm just going to grab my HTML here, and right here in between the body, block body, these guys, this is where I'm going to put all of my code now. So pop it in there. I'm just going to minimize it just to keep things easy, and I'm going to hang on to this for when I add my next section. So I'm going to save, and this is the core styles. So we have our root variables that every stitch in the library will use. They all pull from these same values, so that whenever you use any stitches and make a whole website with it, if you change one value here, it changes on every stitch in your entire website. You didn't have to set that up. We did it for you. Same thing with the body and margin. Like every body in your website, the body needs to have the inherent margin and padding removed from it. That will be that white border around your website that you see that you can't figure out why it's there. Well, this is why it's there. It's on the body. Then we also add the before and after, and everything and their pseudo elements have box sizing border box, so that borders and paddings don't affect the height and width of your elements. That's a real nasty one there. You need to be adding these to all of your websites all the time. Every time you start at one, we just have it here for you. And then our topper title text. This is going to be the main H2 of every section, that little brand colored topper on top of it that's smaller, and then our body text. So this is all the same on every stitch. We did that on purpose so that you can just pull these values out from your core styles, put them in your root CSS file that's shared on all pages, and you can change this in one spot, and you can change them on every stitch in your entire site at once. So maybe you wanted to change the font sizes of your titles. So instead of changing them on every stitch in your site, you just go up here and change the header font size clamp. You just edit this, and every single CS title on the website will change to that font size. Same thing for the colors and everything else. So that's why we do it. You get your core styles, you copy to clipboard, and we go over to our root, and you just copy and paste right here. So this is your core styles sheet. This is the root, and you just copy and paste it in here. It's already here for you in the kit, but I'm going to paste this just to demonstrate that. And that's a hidden character. Got to get that out of there. So that when we save, all of our site will pull these values. So I'm going to save. So we got that in there. And you only have to do that once. That never have to do it again. So now I can just grab my CSS without any worry. So I'm going to grab my less CSS. If you like Sass, we have that Sass option. But I'm going to use less, and I'm going to add dark mode because I want to use dark mode. So I'm going to copy this CSS, and we're going to go into our critical because this is the above the fold stuff. And I'm just going to save. And I'm going to minimize. Just every time I add a stitch, I always minimize all the media queries so that it's easier to navigate. And I'm going to save. And if I go here, I should have my my hero section. So there it is. It's all pulling from the core styles. Now, see, I want that yellow, but the base core styles is not. It's not unique for every stitch. It doesn't have those colors. You're supposed to be able to just copy and paste it once. So we just have one core styles code that is the same on every stitch. So if you want that yellow color, just click the Figma file, and it will load the actual Figma file this was designed off of. And let's just click on a button here, and that's the primary. That's the color I want. So I'm going to copy that color. Let's get rid of this, and let's go back to our root CSS. We're going to change our primary to that yellow, and lo and behold, everything now pulls from that yellow. So what I was saying here with these service cards is that they have a negative margin to pull on top of the section below it. So we have to add padding top to this section to account for the overlap. And we'll get to that. Right now, I want to get my navigation. So I always do the hero section first and then the navigation so I can see what it looks like on top of it. So let's go ahead and get rid of these. We've already used them. So I want the navigation. All. And let's just go for the accountant again. Accountant, because I think we only have two. We have a top bar without a drop down, and we have a top bar with a drop down. So I'm going to grab the drop down because I know I want to add interior service pages, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that and basically how they should be structured and the overall structure of a website and what you should be trying to do when you're creating pages and why you create pages. So now I decide the mobile menu style that I want. Do I want it to drop from the top? Do I want it to slide from the right, or do I want it to take up the whole screen? Do I want to be a full screen mobile nav? See, I always go back and forth on this because I never know what I want to do, but I do like the slide from right because I think it looks fancy. It's got a really nice drop down on mobile. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to stay fancy. I'm going to do a slide from right. And when we select that and get code, it will give us the drop-down code that also includes the mobile nav code that makes it slide from right. So I am going to grab my HTML. I am going to go to, we have components and header. It's in the includes file if you're using the kit. So I go here, and this is the template language. Like this section right here, this CSUL wrapper, this is the exact same on every single nav. And we do that on purpose so that it's easier to edit because you know exactly where things are. And I just add or subtract to it to make new navigation, so it's a lot easier. Also, we can use it with the Nunjux templating language in 11t to loop through the nav list and add that active style so that when you're on that page, it shows the active class on that nav. But this is all in the documentation in the kit. I'm not going to use it because I don't use it. I use the template string to do this, and I just manually add it because it's just easier for me. 11t is a little over my head sometimes. That's why I have a great team behind me to tell me how it works and to just do what they say. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to grab the JavaScript and I'm going to go to the JavaScript over here, nav, paste, save, and never open that again. I use less, so I'm going to grab less. I already grabbed the core styles, don't need it again, so I'm grabbing less. I got dark mode, copy, and we go to our root. Let's go ahead and collapse everything so that I can better view it. Oh, I hate it when this happens. I'm just going to leave it. It's a Visual Studio thing. For some reason, it doesn't like to collapse the whole query for whatever reason, and you have to basically highlight it, copy and paste it. Okay, so we got our footer. This is our call to action. This is our interior page header and desktop navigation. Here we go. So we got desktop, our drop down, our mobile nav, and our dark mode toggle. That is everything that is included with a nav, and we're just going to paste. So let's scroll all the way up, and let's just collapse everything so that it's easier to scroll. There's our mobile navigation code, and this is our navigation dropdown, and this is our desktop navigation. So you see how easy this is to look up and down this long sheet. We got all of these sections here that you can see in the little preview, but we got our core styles for everything on the side. We got our fonts, margin resets, and then we have our dark mode toggle for navigation. This is everything for mobile navigation only. This is everything for the navigation dropdowns. We pulled that out so you don't have to go into the mobile or go into the desktop to find those and change those. We just pulled them out so you edit them directly. You don't have to go finding them. And then we got the desktop only styles here. And then we have the interior page. It's just easier to scroll up and down your CSS sheet to see what you have to edit and change. And then you uncollapse the meaty query you need to work in. That is the core of what makes CodeStitch really powerful and usable. Being that it's only HTML and CSS, we made these little HTML and CSS components without really needing React to or Tailwind to do all these things. It's just it's all about just code organization, and that's where we really put a lot of effort in to make sure that this stuff works. So we pasted all that in, and we're going to save, and pretty sure that's everything we need. And there it is. So that's our nav. And looks like we got everything. We got our drop down. It's working. And let's inspect. I want to show you that. So it looks like this. So this hero section has a padding top that was for a smaller navigation. So when we see this, we know we have to add more padding top to our hero section. But when I click on this, it's a nice little fancy side slide from right, and then when we hit the drop down, this is what I like. When we hit the drop down, oh, that's fancy. That feels good. I like that. That's unique. It's different. So that's why I chose this one. I like to have that. I want to show off a little bit on this one. But right away, this is something that you fix. This is obviously not acceptable. You need space between your hero and your navigation. And some navigations are going to be taller, like with these top bars. And some won't have this top bar, so they'll be shorter. So what we got to do, we go into our critical. Here's the mobile code. So everything's going to be found in mobile. So we got 150 to 300 pixels. Looks like top and bottom, and then left and right are 16 rem. So that 150 pixel, this beginning clamp value is what we want to change. So let's go in here, let's inspect, and let's target the section container. So I want to go on hero 1299. So this is 9 rem. So let's just, in here is where we experiment. So let's say 200 pixels. That actually looks pretty good. I think I can be happy with that. So if I brought this down, yeah, 200 pixels looks fine. We can do that. So now we go into the code. 200 pixels are going to be 12.5 rem, just because I've been doing this so many times. I know 100 pixels is 6.25 rem. So double that is 12.5. So now we're going to change this to 200. And we're going to save. So now we have that in a nice little space here. So that feels better. So that's good. And you can see that this is grossly overlapping the next section, and we're going to fix that. So let's just get out of here. This is our site right now. We get our drop down. Everything's cool. I'm going to change our buttons in a second here. Let's just get rid of, let's get this going. Let's get our next section. So I'm going to get rid of these code blocks. So our next section, after I do services, I like to do about. So we have 15 years in, let's see what we got to work with here. We got 15 years in accounting, construction, e-commerce. So we got some numbers here. and worth over 250 million. So it looks like, let's look for some side-by-sides where we can have some stats. So let's look at our side-by-side sections, and I'm just going to do a standard, which is the image left, content right, and let's look for accountant. So, oh, I did it up here. Silly, Ryan. All right, so standard, and we got to search by tag. Search by tag. Okay, here we go. Accountant. So these are the accountant side-by-sides. And this one has our stats. I like that one. We can put stats in that one, but that's also a content flare. So, because I got that content flare, if this is going to be a stat group, I'm pretty sure I got that. Yeah, that's going to be right here. So let's just look at side-by-sides then, regardless of what they're made for. I just want to see some options. So I was going to use the accountant pack for everything, but I don't know if I see something that kind of feels better. See, I'm kind of liking, well, I want to look at standard, not just all side-by-sides. I should just look at standard. That'll be a lot better. So I'm kind of liking, where's it at? Yeah, I was kind of liking this one. Like that double picture. Because we already have his picture up there. I'm just going through the process now of deciding what I want to use. So this one's going to have a smaller content section. We have a lot to talk about, so I want to have some room. So this image looks a little too big. I don't know. Maybe I will just stick to an accountant one because this looks like it's got everything I need. So I'm going to grab this one. I like this one. It feels right. So we're going to go into local less. This is where, now this is everything below the fold. So we deleted everything. So I'm going to delete everything. I'm just going to paste this wrong code in there. I want my HTML first. I got to go to here in my HTML and add it. So I'm going to add it right underneath, right here. Okay. So I got my side-by-side there. Grab my CSS, my less, add some dark mode because this site will have dark mode. And now I go into the CSS here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go to the top and collapse all these guys. Oh wait, no, I'm in local. I just need to delete it. Okay, there we go. So delete everything. Here's the side-by-side now. And if we look at the notes up here, so on mobile 360, add a padding top of 750 pixels. So here we have our padding. Let's add a padding top of 750 pixels. So that's good. And at tablet, reset the padding top to 500. So we don't have a tablet. So what I need to do now, at tablet, so this is tablet, and tablet starts at 768. So we're going to do 768. And tablet is, you can either do pixels, where I like to do rem. 768 pixels is 48 rem. So we're going to do that. And the section is SBF 1308. So this is where being a developer comes in handy. You know how to do these things. And with padding top, let's just copy it right from here. There. So we got that. And then at 1024 pixels, we want a padding top of 250. So at desktop, we're going to add a padding top to the section of 250. And when we save, now we got that extra room here. So we get our section, we get our stats. So we're going to look at let's look at the different mobile styles. If I scroll out, this thing is overlapping by an obscene amount. And looks like we have more room than we thought we did. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and reduce it. So if I make this a little smaller on mobile, let's just change that up to 5. Looks like we could, I think that's pretty good. That's a pretty good size. I think I'm going to remove 10 pixels just to feel better. I like that. Okay. And that's going to happen. Not everything can be perfect, and that's why we're devs. We can adjust. So now we just got to adjust that padding top to 540, and this is what we have. Now it's a lot easier. So then let's grow this, and then when we get to tablet, that was another one. Okay, so this looks fine. This looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. That padding top is viable, I should say. When we do this, go to here, 1024, padding looks good. These look good. So everything's looking nice and responsive. Everything is lining up on the left here. This edge lines up with this edge. Looks like we got about 100 pixel gap between these two because you want the gap here and here to be the same in design. It's really easy to spot bad design because most websites that have bad design will have a different space here than up here. Sometimes they have too much space, sometimes they have too little space. In CodeStitch, all of our sections have the same exact padding top and bottom on mobile, tablet, desktop. They're all the same everywhere, and that's why they look so good together, because it's consistent. And in design, consistency is what looks professional. So that is what we're looking for here. We have consistent space on top as we do on the bottom. This looks good. And as we scroll out, we see that I love watching it grow just like that. Cool. Nice and responsive. Okay. So now we got these guys. I don't like these buttons, these default buttons with the kit. Kind of ugly. Oh, I forgot I added that nice little animation there. That's cute. So let's change our buttons. So let's go to Stitch. Look at our buttons. So I got an accountant. How fancy do I want to get? We have that like black and yellow like boxy theme. So I think I'm going to stay with that. And I think I like this one because if I make the I'll make the background color the yellow, and then it can fade into that black. So that looks cool. So let's grab this button. So it's going to be I'm going to go to the CSS. I'm going to grab the less for it. I'm going to copy. You can grab the button, but since all of our buttons are made with A tags and they all essentially are incredibly simple and they just have this read more in here, there's nothing else in them. What you can actually do, if we go to the code, so let's line that up. And if we go to our root style sheet and we go to the top and we undo it, we can scroll down here and we will find our button solid. So let's go ahead and paste this in and replace the 4 with solid, so that any other button in the HTML that has this button solid text on it, this will now automatically just inherit that. So we're going to run into an issue here though, and you'll see the animation is not. What's happening here? Why is this happening? Well, it's because of the other button solids. So if we do, if we look at the right here, I did a search of button solid. This button solid transition is overriding it. So when you add a button, we have these buttons included in the stitches because some buttons might be stylistic to that stitch. So we leave the buttons in them. So if you want to use a different button, what I always recommend is going in and removing all of the CS button solids. And let's go into critical. We have another one here. So let's go ahead and remove this because they're overriding. So whenever you add a stitch that has a button, remove that button. That way they can all pull from the same file, the same CSS for that same button. And looks like we got something else going on here. So this, okay, that's right. The button solid has a background color. So we're going to do bar primary. And this looks like it's floating over here. So we have a margin auto, and that's going to happen on a block level element. So this is inline. This margin auto is pushing it to the center of this. So we're just going to put this down to 0. And that should fix that. Put that on the side. So now we have another problem. This white is definitely not meeting the color contrast standards. So instead of being white, we're going to do var the header color. So it's going to be the same color as the headings. So now we have our buttons, and now we gotta get our hover states changed here. So I want to hit this to 0, 0 just to fix that. So we got, when we hover, the looks like the background changes to black. So we want to also change the color, let's say to white. And then we add a transition. So we do a comma. I want to do color, 0.3 seconds. And I want this to also be that black. So we're just going to maintain that black shadow so that when we hover, okay, this turns white, that turns black. Cool. I think I can get behind that. Let's see what happens when we make it the primary color. Let's do var primary. I just want to see if this feels better. I don't know if I like that. That's a separate animation on the navigation, so I gotta go in there and do that. I think I'm just gonna go back to the white. Now we do that. I have a button solid in the navigation code, so I gotta go to the navigation. So if I go to dark mode, mobile, navigation dropdown, and desktop navigation. Looks like we have a button solid here. Let's go ahead and remove that. And now it will now be adopting the styles from there we go, from our main button nav. So now that is resolved. See how easy that was to find? I just looked for desktop. This is the query that it starts at. Everything is going to be in the first media query. I try to put all the styles, everything in there, so that the large desktop, larger desktop, the only thing that's happening there is, I'm going to change that to 16. The only thing that's happening there is arrangements, like we're changing flex boxes or hiding and removing things. And now we have our buttons done. So now it's like a little mini framework now in your own code, where whenever I add a button with a class of button solid, it's just going to be this, and I can change all my buttons everywhere all at once. So now we got our hero section here, because these numbers, that's what I'm going to use here. We got 30 plus accounting files, 250 million, worth over 250 million. And we also got 15 years in accounting. So I'm going to put these here. I'm going to put his story here with a heading. Oh, and what's cool about this stitch, the way I built it, when we add content, this picture will grow with it. So let's go ahead and grab some content. I'm just going to do a lore, because I gotta actually write this. So let's do a little lorem ipsum. So if we go to the index header, we don't need you right now. And now that we've added these, we can remove this. We don't need it anymore. Thanks for the notes. So let's go to the side by side. Here's this. Let's just duplicate this. So let's add another CS text. So now we got that, and the way the code is written, that will always have 16 pixels between the paragraphs, and the last paragraph will always have 32 pixels to visually separate any elements below it away from the paragraphs. You don't want, when you have different elements in the group, like this is a button, this isn't a text, so it should not have the space between it and the other paragraph text. So this is 16 pixels. Every paragraph after that will be 16, but the last one will have twice that. And that's a nice little design rule. Just double the current margin, the current space, to visually separate it from the next distinct element or section, in this case, the button. So that's why we have that built into the code. But when we did that, notice this button, this image is going to grow with it. So looks like we didn't breach the threshold. Let's add a lot more. Let's double this text. Now we have a lot of content. So you see that, all that content, but look at that image. it stayed with it. And this is what I try to do in all my stitches. It's not enough to build responsive sites that respond to the size of the screen. Truly responsive sites also respond to changes in content, whether you add or remove content. How does this code, how does this section respond to that? And that's the philosophy I take when I build sites. It's not just about the screen widths. It's also like how does the design, how does the code respond to changes to it? Like if you add paragraphs, if you move something around, or if you subtract paragraphs, how does the design respond to that, to changes within the design? And that's what I implemented in every stitch that I can. So we have a nice long about section here with this picture on the side that grows with it, so it'll always be proportional and not look weird. Cool. So now after this, I guess I can, let's see, what else do we got here? So I got our services here. So I did the about. Now I know I want to do, these are our two biggest guys. So I want to do a side-by-side reverse pair. So I don't want to have, three side-by-sides on this one in a row, because this is an about, while the other side-by-sides are going to be like services highlights. So the three of them are not related. So visually, I want to separate them with a different stitch to break them up. And then we go into the service side-by-side section so that the content makes sense, not just visually, but contextually, because this side-by-side is an about section. It's talking about them. And the other two side-by-sides we're going to have is actually talking about their services. So I don't want these three grouped because I don't want them to be visually lumped in together. I want to separate them visually. So we put a section between them as like a little buffer, and then we go to the services. It's like it's like a nice little separation between the content. That's just how I like to do things. So what do we want to put there? I think, we can either do the extra services right here, all the other services that they do, or we can do a stat. So we can do these stats here, because we want so these side by sides that I'm going to use for these two biggest guys here. Chances are no one's going to read it all. And I like to put these in the middle of the website so that they, we have that content to rank on Google, but it doesn't negatively impact the, I guess, the effectiveness of our site, because studies show that people only remember the first and last part of a website. So there's a reason that I put my services, the 3 to 4 main ones, at the top, and then at the bottom I put my reviews, so that when people leave the website, they don't remember the big content heavy service sections in the middle. They remember the services that they saw at the top, and they remember the reviews that they saw at the bottom. So they know what they do, and they remember all the nice things people said about them. So when they leave the website, that is the impression that I want them to leave with. And that is why I purposely structure my website like this. So when I think about that, we're still at the beginning of the site. So I think I want to push down a little more to push those content sections down to the middle more. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the extra services section. So where we talk about all the other ones. So we'll talk about all the other services, and then we'll go into the side-by-sides, and then I'll go to the rest. So yeah, let's look for so we got problem solving. So we got 4. So let's look for a forward card service section. Services, forward card, and let's filter by accounting. I know we got plenty of them. So okay, how big do I want to get? Because this is nice. If we look at our overall site, I could do that full width one and have a little more little more variety in my container sizes. Like if I use this one, but problem solving. So I don't have supplemental text to go with this. So these are just titles. So if I tried to use this one, I'd have to get that text written up. I'd have to have that written. This one I can get away with just a title and some images. Let's just see what this would look like. Why not? I think this would work. So let's go ahead and let's minimize that. Paste that. Cool. And minimize, grab my list with dark mode, copy, and let's bring this back up. Always so hard coding split screen. I'm not used to it. So now we have this next section that we just got to paste and not have to worry about. Save, and we have that. Oh yeah, that feels good. I think that's what we need. I like this. So we come up, we have our 1280 pixel right here, and then we got this nice visual break. But you see, you're going to see this a lot. You have all of our stitches, a lot of them, have white backgrounds. And this is a padding bottom of 100, padding top of 100. So there's 200 pixels of space right here. And it's a little, sometimes it can be a little much. So what I like to do is I'll pick a section and I'll give it a background color. So I think, I like this to stay white. I want this to float white on white. So let's see what this looks like. No, I don't think it's going to work. But I'll do it just anyway. I'll just show you. So right here is where I would do background color. This is my hack for everything. F7, F7, F7. If I need to add background to a section to kind of break up the white space, I just add this background color to whatever section I want to be that break. And there, it looks good. And it doesn't matter what color scheme you use. It blends in so perfectly that you can use it anywhere. Like this yellow pops up on it real nice, blues, greens, anything. So this is a hack color. Use F7, F7, F7 as backgrounds to sections to break up the white space. So we got that, but because I don't like how it just dips in here and we don't have a bottom. So this section already tells me that it needs to be on its own. And that's why I'm going to remove it. So bad idea. We tried it and we learned that we hate it. So we're going to remove that. Because this is 100. This is 100 pixels. I don't like that this is 200 pixels because visually that is irking me. I gotta put something there. So I'm thinking. Because the other option would be to turn off the padding top. So let's just remove the padding top so that they are 100 pixels away from each other. And I'm just wondering if that is too close. Maybe because this is a full width section, I can get away with a tight, like a loose top. So if I remove this again, if I have that space, I think I can live with it. Because at least it's not an arbitrary number. It's 2x, so it's 2 times. So this is 100, this is 200. So it has some purpose, like how we did the double. This is 16, this is 32. So I think, and because this is a full width. So in design, when you're trying to justify something, you need to make a rule. So what I'm identifying here is that I have, all of these other sections, they're 1280 pixels wide, right? This is the only one that's full width. So if we do this, if we leave this space up here, then any full width section like this would also get that gap because this is an exception. So I make my rule that I gotta have 100 pixels top and bottom. And to maintain that, I use my background color hack. But if I can't use that, then what's the exception? How do I get around that? Well, I have a full width section here. When we hover over it, this is pretty nice. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave that empty up there until I don't like it anymore. But I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay with it. So we got these guys here now. So we got our services. Then we got okay, reviews are gonna be at the bottom. These are these side by sides. I do want to have a stat section. And I want to have a process. So maybe that's what we do. So we learned about them, and now let's add a section right here for how to get started. So let's do that. Do we have any steps for accountants? Well, we only have 15 steps, and I only need 3 steps, so we're really only going to choose between 4. So we got these. This was made for accountants, and looks like it has a nice little background image. Let's just grab this. Let's see what it looks like. Why not? So we're going to leave the services here. And now what I'm going to do, I want it to go after the side by side. So I'm going to paste this here, and I'm going to collapse. Make sure all my spaces are done right. Save. I'm going to bring this up, grab my less code with dark mode, copy. And so it's after side by side, but before services. So that's where I'm going to add it. Scroll to the top and minimize. Get rid of any extra spaces. So now I got, oh, I didn't save the HTML. Wait, oh, there you are, there you are. Okay, so I got this now, and it has a little background. But you see, I have this full width here, and this full width here, so now it looks stupid. Now it doesn't make sense. So even if I tried using this as a buffer, because it's full width, it creates this weird bar space that I don't know how I feel about it. I think it works. I think it could work. I think it could work. Maybe this doesn't look as bad as I thought on first glance. So if I'm starting at the top, coming down, services, okay, how to get started. How much content do I have there? So I'm gonna have to get that written. If I have discovery, etc., etc., I gotta have a sentence written for each one, which isn't bad. I mean, you want content. So then if I have my full width section here, maybe I don't need this. Maybe I don't need this section. So let's go back to our services. And this is going to happen. This is fine. You're going to change your mind sometimes. So I was looking at this 4Z here. I think that's what I'm going to use instead. So we're going to grab this HTML. And what I'm going to do is, this is the services I want to replace. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to paste. Whoops. This one, here we go. HTML, we're working in HTML. And now we get our CSS, less dark, copy. And now I'm going to replace this with that. And I'm going to collapse. Save. Yeah, I did something wrong. I didn't save. There we go. Okay, so now we have that. And see that you're seeing another like another fun thing about CodeStitch is nothing's permanent. You just plug and play, mix and match, replace, move around. It's very flexible, really easy, and man, it's working in all the ways I hoped it would when I first came up with this idea. So this is also fun for me seeing it come to life like this. So now we got our breakup here between the two sections, right? And this does look so much better. I mean, yeah, we're keeping with the theme. We got our boxes here because we got our boxes here. So we're maintaining that same design theme. So I accept. I accept. Yeah, maybe that it was a nice looking stitch having that full width one, but I just didn't like how it sit with the rest, so I changed it. So now we got these guys. So now that I'm here, I mean, he's not going to have a gallery. You know, accountants don't need galleries. Like, what do you take pictures of spreadsheets and binders? I mean, so I think the next one is going to be, so we got content. Let's do a stats strip. So let's look for stats. I think I'm going to do, well, let's look at all. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we're working with here. What kind of stats would I want to use? I think we can go with the strip version. We can do a strip. I was kind of looking at that. Kind of like that. Just looking at, so if I scroll down here, if I go to, I can have a tiny bar or a big bar. And I think I'm gonna do tiny bar. Maybe if I even do a pill like this. Like, this is a restaurant one, but I think I can make it work for accounting. So let's copy that. Let's put it after the services. I'm gonna get my CSS, less, dark mode, cool. All right, and after our services, just make sure we're at the right spot. Boom. And I'm gonna save. Well, I gotta save HTML if I want to see it. Okay, and then we move into that. I think that can work. We gotta remove that padding top, so because we have that extra space. Since it's kind of floating in space, I think we can get away with having it rest relatively close like that. So we got these stats that I would replace with I'd replace with these stats. 500 clients, 0 audits, 300 plus tax returns filed. Oh no, that's just me saying it. Okay, 120 plus property financials. 120 plus. Let's see. There's more qualities. I'm just looking here. So we got 3 stats, and yeah, we could fill that with a rating. So I think this works. I think this works. I'm gonna keep it. I think I'm gonna keep it. Yes, I am. I'm keeping it. So now let's go into the side-by-sides. I think I'm gonna do that. Side by side, I want a reverse pair. See, this is another. These are the accounting ones. So, and these ones have like fancy people. So it's just, what do I want to do? Do I want to have like a side-by-side people, or do I want to do just another? I just want to have one side-by-side as a person and then another one as an image group. Or I use this, and I just get rid of the tires. Because I don't know how he'll feel about, random stock photos of other people. And we have this. I kind of like this. Because we got these graphics on the side too. They're nice. And then we have, looks like we have a stats graph, but I'm probably not going to use that. So let's just grab this code for the side-by-side. I think this is what I'm going to go with. So after that stats box, we're going to add these guys. Save. And then collapse. I'm going to grab my last dark mode, copy, paste. And it's nice because all of these work because they have all of their variables pulled out. So like this is the topper, this is the title, this is the text. So everywhere that is topper, title, text, this is topper, title, text. They're all pulling from that same one in the root. So I don't have to pull them out of every stitch because we already did that and put them in a core style sheet. And that's why we do it, because now we can just paste without really worrying about anything. So the only thing is we have a button solid in these guys. So let's go ahead and get that button solid out of there. There you are. Don't need you. There we go. So now it's gonna work appropriately. So now we got this side-by-side section here. Excuse me. So I'm going to talk about that one topic, full cycle monthly accounting services. Sexy. And then accounting software migration implementation. That will be this one. Excuse me, talking too long. So yeah, we can have a stat there and a stat there, and yes, maybe some more stock photography. This is going to go a button when it says learn more. We're going to go to our services, which will be, this service page will be about that. And then this service page will go to another one. And that's how I do those. So we have these little call to actions to take people to learn more. You don't want to put all your content on the home page. That's just crazy. You want to have little snippets. So you talk about something and you use all the keywords so that the homepage ranks, and then you have a button, a call to action to go learn more about this topic while you're thinking about it, while they have that impulse. If they're reading and they want to learn more, we capitalize on that impulse, we give them the button, and we tell them, here's what you can do about that. And they click it, learn more. Hopefully they like what they read. They go to contact and they send an email or they call, and now it's a lead. So that's kind of that whole idea there. Don't try to add too much content. Content is good, don't get me wrong, but don't add too much, because too much of a good thing can kill you. Like water. You can drink, water keeps you alive, but if you drink too much, it's going to get you. And that's what's going to happen here with these with these text blocks. Don't add too much. So we got these guys. I'm not going to have another one. I don't need these. So I'll probably just if I go to the second one, I might use them for the top, but in the second one I don't want it. So I'm just going to remove that content flare. So I don't think I need it. And then we'll just talk a little bit more there. Let's see if there's any other flare I can add in there. So we got, do I want to add a list or a stat? Let's look at lists. I think I'm going to add a list. Yeah, I think I'll add this. I'm going to add this. I like this one. This one, we just made this one. So I'm going to grab the code. And And what I'm going to do here, so this code, comes with an ID on it because that is the only way to make this work in CodeStitch is to have these these ID tags, and our system appends the ID number. See this? This is the ID number. This is its position in the database. So it appends it to it so that it's unique and doesn't interfere with any others. So what I like to do when I do these content flares, if I want to reuse them in other spots of the site, so I'll take this flare. I want it to live here, but let's get rid of the ID and just call it a class of, let's do a list box, right? Let's just call it a list box. And I'm gonna get the less code. I'm gonna add the dark mode because I want it. And we're gonna go to our root styles. And in our core styles, I'm just gonna add a little section. I think I'm gonna do it right here for a content flare. Oops, content flare. Yep, there we go. And I'm gonna paste it here. Now, there's gonna be some formatting needed. Collapse. And I just want to tab once. There we go. This is dark mode. I don't need these instructions. This is just telling you what you do with it. So this one, this one's gonna be this is a card list, just so that I know what it's for. Yeah, that'll spread it out. Okay, so we're gonna have that, and then it's gonna be what did I do it? What did I call you? List box. Collapse, and it's gonna be dot list box. Cool. And then we're gonna save. And if I didn't do anything wrong, okay, list class of list box. Oh, that's because it's a media query inside of a media query. So I think what I'm gonna do is because I don't need a media query, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna paste, put it outside. I'm going to copy you. Unless, you know what? No, this is going to be easier. Okay, I'm going to do something I should have done. I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy. So we got our core styles, right? I'm going to drop this. I'm going to collapse. And I'm going to grab a comment tag. And this is going to be list box flare. There we go. All right. So now it's even easier to find. So here's our list box. So it looks like it's pulling from some other style somewhere. So let's see what's happening. Let's inspect and see where is it getting this space between. So it's pulling it from okay, it's pulling it from the H3 on the 1218. That's going to be RB. That's going to be in our side-by-side 1218. So it looks like our side-by-side 1218. Let's go to local. Yeah, that's right. That's here. So if we scroll down, so we have space between. And that is because I didn't remove the content flare CSS previously. So I'm going to remove the old percentage code. Because we only want it, we only really want it on the first one. So when we remove that, that is what it should be. That doesn't have the stats. So now what I want to do, because all of our, this code right here is all being run together so that they match. So all I want to do is, I just want to write a separate style, SBS 1218. Or instead of doing that, I can be a little less dumber. And I can turn that. So this is going to be content flare. So let's go over here to our root. That's our list box. Yeah, we don't have a media query to collapse it, so I'm just going to make one. Let's see what that does. Okay, so that gives you that, but does it override that? No, it doesn't. It does not override that. So this is going to be progress bars. So now, if I want to reuse this anywhere in the site, I can literally just copy and paste that and put it in any side-by-side section, and it's going to pull that same code from that root style. So I pulled that code out, and I added it to the global style sheet so that it can be used anywhere. So this list box, if I just add that that little group anywhere, it's going to pull this list box code, and it's going to run. So now we got that settled. I got my little flares there. The next thing you want to do, so like when we have these icons and stuff, you don't actually want to use these. Let's scroll down to here. What you need to do for like icons or graphics or anything you want to use, just copy this, paste it in a window, and you're going to save as. So I'm going to save this in the folder, which is in here, source, assets, images, and that's where I save it. Done. So now when I go in the code, all I have to do is just do /assets/images. And now it's loading locally. But this is orange, and I want yellow. So how do we do that? We just go to our core styles. And since I don't need this comment code anymore because I'm already using it, we're going to grab the main color from our primary. Let's go to our images where we added our metal SVG. Let's do Alt-Z so that everything collapses to fit in the screen here. And we see these strokes. So I'm actually going to do a find and replace. I'm going to put the replace there. Oh, looks like it's already EDA 708. What color is this? I don't see a fill none. EDA 708. Yeah, that's EDA 708. But what are you? Am I looking at the wrong root here? So if I look at you, where are you getting your color? Oh, see, that's FC. FC. Okay, so in metal, I don't see that. Neat. That's always fun. If I do a find and replace, this is just the same thing. It technically should be there. Well, I know I saved it the right spot. But what are you doing to me? So if I hit this, let me see. Oh, you know what I'm doing? You know what I think? I think I'm dumb. Let me see. So if I open this up, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to save as. See, metal, it should be trophy. So I did something. I saved the wrong one. So let's go to images, because that should be trophy. Am I in the right side by side? Side by side reverse. Yeah, I'm in the right one. Trophy. Okay. So now if I open trophy, there it is. There's the magic. Paste, save. And now, let's see. Is there more? So copy, find. Okay, save. And then save. Whoops. I forgot to do something. Save. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Okay, that's still maybe because I'm putting it in the wrong spot. Oh, because I'm dumb. I'm putting it in this spot here. Okay, so I need to put it in the oh boy. Now I'm leaving this in here because this is troubleshooting stuff. This is things that people are going to run into as they work. So yeah, I'm in the wrong spot. This is the 12 years experience floating box. Good one, Ryan. Okay, so we want to be down here where the actual cards are. And if we swap this guy out, that's why none of this was working. Okay, there you go. As you can see, finally it worked. So when I went in there and I changed the fill color and I saved it locally, and then I just changed the folder path where it comes from, and now I have my own branded color icon. And that's how you do things. You take the CDN link, put it in a new window, right click save as, and then you open up the SVG in your editor and change the fill and stroke colors. And now you have an SVG that fits your color scheme. And you also do that for graphics. Like for this graphic here, I would load that in a new tab, save it, and load it locally. If I wanted to use this image, I'd do the same thing. So I got these guys now. We have a pretty nice looking flow here. And I think, what else do we have to say here? So we got qualities. So we need qualities, stats, the processes at the top, quality stats, pricing, reviews. So I want to do qualities. So why choose us? Why choose us section? How many do we have to work with? Qualities 3 to 4. We have 4. They care more. Solutions oriented. Okay. This is another one where we can add a bunch of stats. Let's see, how are we looking? Okay, we got gray, so we can go to a white, or we can also go to a black. But if we do that black, like if we do this one, we have our stats with it. So we can knock 2 birds out, 1 stone kind of deal here. I'm gonna go with this one, just to see. I'll get these stats out of here. and I got my Y. So I'm going to use this one just to have like a nice contrasting color, a nice, there's a lot of white, a lot of grays. I want to have a big black thing in the middle. So we're going to get the HTML and we're going to paste it here. Collapse, collapse. I'm going to grab my CSS, dark mode, and add it in. Go to the top and collapse. And there should be that section. So yeah, I like that because we got, let's see, we got our, I could probably remove this one. So I think that's what I'm going to do. We got the other stats here. Let's remove that code because we don't need it no more. Here's the other stats. There we go. Nice and easy to kind of mix and match and pick and choose what you want to keep. And it's going to change. Sometimes as you put a website together, maybe you aren't feeling the decisions you made before and you have to change, and that's just fine. Usually you get those out of the way in the Figma phase, but for me today, I'm just I'm building on the fly. So I'll change that logo or that icon later. I'm just scrolling up and looking at everything. So we got, come down here, here, and we have another space. This is a gap here. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's fine because I don't want to feel too scrunched. So we'll leave that there. We got our stats here, which I'm going to fill in with the why choose us. What are the 3 qualities? Care more, solution oriented, love saving customers time and money, personalized attention. So that's all going to go right here. I'm going to try and find a way to this one. I could say providing value. So that's what I'm going to put there, and then I'm going to put the stats all in here. So that would be a fun section. And now, so we got that done. Let's get a reviews, and then a call to action, and then a footer. Oh yeah, we need a pricing too. So let's go ahead and quickly, let's just grab a quick pricing one. So I want to do pricing, then reviews, call to action, and footer. So he's got 3 pricing tiers. These are my accounting ones. Let's see, what's the orientation here? So I got, what's the last? Okay, so this is the last side-by-side I use, so I have a content left. So if I use another side-by-side after this, I need to have a content on the right. So if I want to use this one, this is content left. The last design we did had content left. So to balance that, the next one should be content right. And that's what I'm actually thinking about. Now, actually, this should be flipped. So let's go into the CSS. I think I'm gonna flip these guys. So I think here is where we do the flip. Yeah, we set it to row. Let's inspect and find out what's going on. So I know we have the content. So the CS content is where the flex direction changes to row at 64 rem. So with that, we're at 64 rem, it's on the CS content. So I want the card group to be on the right. So I'm going to do order -1. And that's going to send it to the left side. So now we have it over here. So now we're going content left, content right, and then content left again. So let's do this one. Just grab the HTML. This is if you haven't noticed, this is a pretty repetitive process here. Just grab the HTML and paste. Grab the CSS and paste with dark mode. I'm gonna collapse that. And then, once I'm done, I'm just going to show me putting it together and making it. Once I'm done, that's when I'm going to actually go in and change the content, change the icons, change the images, and then really get into the details to make it unique. Did I save? Yeah, I saved. All right, so now I got these pricing cards, and I'll put all his different packs here, and we'll talk about stuff. See, it's got a button solid, so I gotta remove that button. So I go to mobile. All your button code will be here in mobile. Button solid. Gone. Do I have any more button solids anywhere? No, we're good. Boom, boom. Okay, neat. So we got our pricing. Now I want to do reviews. Reviews. Let's just look at all. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so we got these look like my my accounting reviews. So we got a black section here, a little bit of black here, and it's in a gray. I don't want to do a heavy section. This is another heavy section. This is like a darker black. And we got a light gray here. So if I look at this, if I do a light gray section on the bottom, I can make that white. So let's see what it looks like with, so if this is image, so if this is content left, this is content left. I want content right. So that the eye line goes here. Read. Okay. Yeah, because when you're here, your eye line is going from left to right. So we read this, and then we read this, and then the eye line I want to come back down here to read this. So that's where I'm going to put the reviews. I'm going to put the reviews on that side. Let's go ahead and toss this in here. Save. Get my CSS with dark mode, and then when we actually turn on dark mode, you'll see that all of the stitches have dark mode enabled. Like they have their own dark mode style, so you don't actually have to do anything. So reviews. So now that I have that, see, this is I don't like how this gray just kind of feeds into it. I want this to be its own section. So I'm going to go into the code, and I'm going to remove that background color. So now it has a defined line here. So we got our pricing. We got our reviews. So my eye line is going from left to right, and then I'm coming down here, and then it moves over, and then here is where we're going to have our call to action section. So I got my reviews. Let's look at our call to action all. Let's see what we got. This is the last, like, after they viewed the website, this is the last section that's like, okay, if you haven't done this yet, do this. So I always try to give them that option at the bottom. And which one do I want? It just depends on what you need, really. So we have like these simple ones where it's just a banner. And then we got this. This is like a subscribe to newsletter type. I kind of like this one. I feel like this one might be a little too busy for this section because we already have like this line here. So if I had a slant here, that's just, if it would feel too messy, too busy. So I'm going to simplify this bottom. I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to replace that form with a button. So I like this style just because it's a subscribe form doesn't mean I can't make it into what I want. And that's what's nice about CodeStitch is, if you can use stitches outside of their intended design. So this one has that form. I'm just going to replace the form with a dot button solid, and I want to call us today, right? So I'm going to do that. We're going to save, and I'm going to get the CSS less. Looks like this one doesn't have a dark mode because it's already dark, so there's no dark mode button. And let's go ahead and add this in here. So, oh yeah, that's right. This is our call to action. So we actually want to add it to our root style so that it can be added to all pages. So I'm going to paste that in here. And I'm going to go ahead and remove, because I'm not using the form code. So I'm just going to remove this CSS form input. We're going to remove that button solid. And then we're going to keep that submit. Yeah, we actually don't need that either. So I'm going to save that. Collapse. And then what we're going to do instead, because I didn't realize we're doing call to action, we copy this and remove this, right? Because this is going to go into the CTA. So if we go into our components, our call to action, I just highlight, paste, and save. And now this is going to be like a little component where I just add this string to the bottom of any page, and then it will load that HTML component. So I go to here at the bottom. See, there it is. Okay, so now I think I have to save. So save. It's being duplicated. Why are you being duplicated? I don't know why either. Okay, so button call us today. So it looks like that button solid. I didn't put CS or CodeStitch. That's why you see CS before everything. That's our prefixer, CS, CodeStitch. That way, it's almost guaranteed not to interfere with any other classes that you have. Like if you're using CodeStitch to just add a couple things to an already existing website, if you already had like a class of title or a class of text or a class of button solid, those would clash with the styles that we have. So that's why all of our classes are prefixed with CS dash, so that wherever you put our code, chances are you don't have that class name. It's a very unique class name. So that helps us make little HTML and CSS components that won't interfere or mess with the current styles of the site or platform you're already using. So that when we save, we have that, but look, this little shadow here is black and it's not showing up very nicely. So, and I just realized I don't like this. An image on image backgrounds, I don't like that. That does not feel good to me. And I don't like this circle. It's cool, but I feel like it muddies up this shape a lot. So I think what I want to do, because I gotta go from review to footer. So if I do this, I might need a new review section. Let's look at our options. Maybe I'll do a card style. I think this would work. Probably something simple and blocky and square. Something like this. That's like no pictures. We don't think we don't want pictures. Like this one. So let's go ahead and just use this simple one. Since he doesn't have a lot of reviews, let's just keep it simple with only 2. That way we only have to really get 2. So if I replace this review section here, get my CSS in dark mode, and then replace this reviews code So now we got that. And then we go into this. This is a lot better. I like this because before we had that off-center line here that was created by the image and the gray section. So we had this off-center line and then the center aligned like circle and graphic. It did not feel right. Now when we have this center line going down the design right down the center of this circle, right down the center to the center text. That is a much better visual path, I should say, of design. So everything is going straight down instead of like off to the side, straight down, and then jagged going left and then coming down. It didn't make sense visually. I didn't like it, and that's why I decided to change. Instead of changing this, I decided to change the reviews, and this is working a lot better. I like this. And then we can add a little call to action button down here. Let's go to up here, reviews, see container. So if I collapse content in cards, I think I can do this. Let's see what happens. A.cs button solid. I just want to make sure I can do that. Let's see more reviews. That works. Let's check out mobile, make sure that, yeah, it's centered. So everything is nice and mobile friendly. See how we got these same spaces, top and bottom. Space, top and bottom. See this top and bottom. This is what makes things look nice, is that consistency between the spacing. See, this is actually looking pretty nice on mobile. Except I don't know how I feel about this. It feels like a gap here. But overall, I mean, this is shaping together to be a pretty nice accountant website. And I was really looking forward to being able to use this design. So I thought it's so convenient that I had this client reach out to me that happened to be an accountant, and the colors match the theme and everything. So let's go ahead and get that out of there. Now let's get our footer. And you know what? Here's another thing. I forgot to do this button. So this button's solid. As the default, this is the default, but now that it's on a dark background, it doesn't work. So we need to do a little custom override. So we go to our root and our CTA and content, this title text. Here you go. That's where a button would be. So CS button solid. This is where it comes in. Being a developer, this is you customizing. So we want the box shadow. So it's going to be, what is it, 4 pixel, 0, 0. We're going to make it white instead, right? So that it shows up. And then when we hover, we want that to come in and turn this box white, and then turn that text black, so it contrasts really well. So only on the call to action button solid, this is where our little override is. So this is the less syntax. At hover, I want my color to change to white, right? And I want box shadow to be 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 0 pixels, and stay white. And then on the button solid, we need to add a transition for that color. So we want to say transition your color from the original state to the new state in 0.3 seconds. And that's what that is. So when we come down here, now we have a different button, different style now. And when we hover over it, it's not working. I don't know if we can see it or not, because we changed the transition value. So it looks like we forgot to add the transition for box shadow, and we need to change the background color. So I also want to add a comma, box shadow, 0.3 seconds, and then background color, 0.3 seconds, because we're also changing that. So on hover, I want my background color to be white. And that's what we do for multiple transitions. You don't just want to put transition 0.3 seconds. You want to specify which transitions are doing their transitions and their timing. Because if you do that, then you're going to run into issues in the Google PageSpeed Insights. That is a little known flag that isn't really shown as a flag. It's just like in like an extras kind of deal where you have non-compositive what is it? Non-composite animations, meaning you have transitions on properties that can't accept transitions, and it's a wasted resource. So you don't need to be trying to do transitions on things that don't transition. So we only specify the transitions that we want to happen because that's more performant and more optimized. Instead of having everything transition at 0.3 seconds, we specify only these properties get their transitions done. I get their properties transitioned. So that's why we do that. And then when we come here, now we have that animation. Oh, I turned the text white. All right. So I want that to be var header color. There we go. Now see, everything is animating and transitioning nice. So this is a special button, right? That is sitting on top of darkness. And another thing I want to mention here is this circle, right? I have a circle here. Where in this site do I also have circles? The answer is nowhere. And that is a very telling, like kind of flag issue. Like, hey, we don't have circles or rounded corners in this design. This is standing out as you know, this is a circle. There is no reason to have it. There's no other rules that allow us to have circles, and we have no circles anywhere in the design. So what this should tell you is you remove it. You don't use it. So this is being made. If we inspect this ditch, let's go to desktop here, and we hover over everything. You see this box here. So it looks like it's a pseudo element on the CS container, and it's coming in at 0 rem. That's the media query. So let's go in and let's find the CS content. Here is our circle overlay. Thank you for labeling it, past Ryan. Thank you. And we're just going to remove it and save. And there we go. Now we don't have that. So since we don't have that, maybe we lower the or up the opacity on the background. So instead of being 0.5, let's lower this to 3 so that more of that dark background shows. So I think we got, yeah, the background color on this section is a black. Let's just make it a darker black. There you go. And so the image being opaque allows that black to show through. And that's one way to create an overlay effect rather than having a pseudo element be placed absolutely on top of it and have a dark background with an opacity. You can also have the section with a dark background and adding opacity to your image so that the background bleeds through. That's one of the two ways to make an overlay. So now we have this section. The yellow looks good. It's a little darker. We got good contrast. This feels good. So now let's do our footer. So if we go to footers all the way at the bottom, let's just look at all our footers here. And I think we're going to go with a dark footer. Oh, this is also pretty nice, the combo one. This might work really well. If we ditch this section to call us today, and instead replace it with a footer combo that has a contact form here. Yeah, I like that. I just recently made this one. So let's use this one. So I'm going to copy and what I'm going to do, because I want to keep this, I'm going to put this at the bottom of all of my interior pages. So I'm going to keep that as the component. And I think what do I want to do? No, because if I add in the static site generator, if I add this as the footer, this will show up on every page. So then, I only want this footer on the home page. So then I can't use it because I don't want it on every page unless I do. Do I want this form and footer on every page? No, I don't. So I think I'm just going to keep it simple. And I'm going to use this one. But I want one with a logo on it. This one's simple, but it doesn't have contact information. I want contact info. I want contact info with a logo. I don't think I need this many. Let's just look at 3 columns. I don't think I need all those columns. So we got a simple one here, services, contact. Might be able to get away with that. Let's see what our 4 combos look like. I think I can get away with this one because this has my logo. This has like our site nav, services for interior pages, and then our contact. I'll go with this one. I'm going to copy. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my components again, and I'm going to go to my footer. I'm just going to highlight and paste, and that's it. And then my CSS, that one's already dark, doesn't have a dark mode. And I'm going to go into my root so that it's shared on all pages and just replace the footer with that. So that's done. And save. Now we have our footer. I think this needs an override. So CS logo image. Let's do a CS. What is that in there? Is that a CS text? Yeah, CS text. I just got to add a little override here. There we go. Now this is a law one, so I'm using a lawyer footer. This is made for lawyers. And then all I got to do is replace this information with the client. And I'm wondering, let's see. So we got this. I wonder if I make the background yellow. No, I don't think I want to do it. No. Maybe. No. I think I'm going to leave that simple. It's just going to be black. It's not going to be yellow. I do like this pattern, so I'm going to grab this pattern, actually. I want to use that. So this is going to be, I think this is the why choose us. Local, pricing, stats, side by side. I think this is a stats. What section are you? Yeah, it's a stats 1230. So if I go up here to stats, stats 1230. So here's my chevron pattern. It's being served up in a pseudo element. So that's cool. I can use that. And if I go to the root, into the footer, I just add position relative and z index of 1. Always, anytime you add position relative to something, just put a z index on it because it makes things so much easier. I'm going to paste. And now my background will have that. So that's a lot better. Now that matches because I've done this once over here. So this is like another design rule. If I have a black background, I must have a pattern on it. And I must have this pattern because I did it once. So if I do it again without this pattern, then that breaks that design rule and doesn't look as good. So now my footer feels a lot better. It's not just this blank, empty black. And it matches what we've done previously in the site. So I like this. I like this. This feels better. So now this page is done. So we're all good here. Now, what I usually do when we do interior pages, so we have our about page. Oh, I gotta add our code here to take us to different pages. So if we go to the header, move this down a little bit. So home is going to go to /home. About is going to go to /about. And then our services are going to go to their service pages. Team, we'll go to about. We don't need a work. We don't need that. And then we could probably have an FAQ. And then I think let's do a contact. /contact. Now we got that set up. Let's go to our about page. So this is our about page from the base kit. And as you noticed, now it's loading the footer and the call to action that we had on the home page, because these are templatized and these are all part of the kit. So what we're doing here now, I don't like this. So as you can tell, the space here on the bottom and the space on top doesn't match. It doesn't look good because this banner was made for a smaller nav. Like if we didn't have this top section, then this would probably be fine. So let's find a different banner. So go to interior pages and let's go to page banners. So these are choices for banners, and I like this one. What looks like it was made with a top navigation, so that's going to be cool. I think I like this one. I'm going to get this one. So we're going to copy. We're going to go to our about page in our, let's see, I'm just going to, well, actually, I'm going to open this up because I want to get to the about last. Content pages. So this is where all of our other pages live, in content and pages. I go to about. Here is the banner. I paste there. I get my code for the banner. And then I go to my root.css or less, which is where all of my shared CSS goes. So this is going to be on most pages. And so I put it in here. Save. And now my about will have a different banner. So now this looks a lot better. You know, we have like these, looks like this gradient's coming in from the left. Obviously, we're gonna have to change the image. But yeah, I like this. I like this better. So we have good space here, good space here. This feels even, and this feels good. So we're gonna keep that. Now, when I do the about section, like the about pages, I reuse the sections from the home page so that there's consistency. So if we go to the home page, I already have one of these. Like this is a side by side, or I can use one of these. So I like to reuse them because it's also just easier. So I am going to reuse a component. So let's go to let's get the HTML first. Index. So I want to grab this side by side, right? And we're going to go to the about page. Remove that. And I'm going to replace this side by side with that side by side. I hate it when VS Studio does that. There we go. Now I can collapse, save, and then I go into the local. So here's our side by side right now. Grab that, go into the about last file, and I'm just going to highlight everything because we're not going to keep it. I'm going to paste, save, and now when I go to the about page, we have that there, but we have that that padding top from the hero. So this looks fine. However, we just got to remove that padding top that we added for the home page. So save. We don't need this media query anymore because we don't need to worry about the overlapping section card. And now it's fine. Whoops. Open you back up, save. It didn't like something. Okay, so I remove this and save. That's cool. And then I remove this and save. And that's cool. All right, I probably did something. I probably removed a bracket or something. So there we go. Yeah, we have that section, and we'll talk about him. Maybe we'll have another picture here of him and some extra stats to repeat, or we'll have oh, I don't need a, well, that learn more, that's just going to be a get a quote. Maybe I can add content flare, because this is the about section. So instead of having the stats, maybe I can add a quote. I like this one. Or no, I like this one for the yellow bar. Let's grab this one. So I'm gonna grab the HTML for this, and in this side by side on about, I don't want the stats, so we'll remove the stats, and we'll remove the button. So we have that quote there. Let's remove this text. Maybe we don't need as much text to say things. And then we'll grab this CSS. So it looks like it's pretty simple. I'm going to grab my less and any dark mode that goes with it. And I think I'm going to do it again where yeah, I'm just going to do an ID or a class of quote content quote. Save. And then I'm going to take all of this stuff, and I'm going to copy that code again. And where we had that content flare stuff, so we got the list box. So now I'm going to do this again. So we got list box, progress bars, and then I'm going to make another little media query to collapse it. And then I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put it in here. So there's our dark mode. I'm just going to remove this because I don't need it. Quote, move you over, remove that stuff. And I'm just going to keep it all in here. So now we're going to do, what was it, content quote? Yeah. Whoops. There you go. And that way I can use it anywhere. And it's tucked away in a little media query, so I can use these anywhere I want now. Let's see if that worked. There it is. So I think I want it to be the same color. So I just need to edit that text. This is going to be content quote. Save. And I'm going to open it up. So the color is going to be body color. I want it to be the same color as the body. No, that's the name. I want the name to stay black. I want this to be body color. So that's the same there. And then let's remove a second. Let's remove another paragraph. So since I feel like we don't need all those paragraphs. There, that feels better. And then I think we can add a button. To get a quote. We'll figure that out. But now we have that, and it's working. See what other content we might need. We just got the about. I think I like to put reviews in my about. So if they don't make it all the way to the bottom and they just check out the about page first, we can throw some reviews on there. Let's go ahead and let's copy the one from the home page. Let's go down here. We got reviews. Copy. Go to our header or our about. Paste. I like to collapse everything so it's easier to navigate. Then we go to local. Grab our reviews here. Go to about here. And paste. That's it. Yeah, so now we got that. The only thing is got the empty space. So this has a dark background already. So let's not add that F7 cheat to that one. Let's add it to this one. There we go. So we got that now. We have that nice little break. We got our reviews, and I don't think we want to see more reviews. I want them to contact. So this reviews button, we're going to have call us now, right? That's going to go to the contact page. Or do we? We have this. Yeah, so we don't need that. Yeah, we'll just leave it to go to the reviews if they want to read more reviews and get converted. Otherwise, we have this call to action section at the bottom. So that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't think we need anything else on here other than maybe the qualities. Why choose us? We can add that in there. We can add a quick stat section. Actually, that might be neat. Yeah, let's add the stats again, but in a different form. So let's get rid of the that background color. Let's get rid of that on the review, on the about. We're going to remove that. Instead, I am going to grab a stat strip. There you are. I'm going to use a black one. I know which one I'm going to use. There you are, this guy. So I'm going to use this one. I'm going to copy this HTML. It's going to be side-by-side review, so it's going in the middle. And then I'm going to collapse, save, and got to my about. Right here is where I'm going to get my CSS. Less, copy, paste, collapse everything, get my space right, and save, and that will put that there. So we have that little buffer zone between the two groups here. So the thing is, this might be, we have the black here, so that black on black is a little harsh. So I'm going to edit this section. Instead of being that, it's going to be the light gray. So we're going to have that because that's a little more soft. And then we got to change the color of the, it looks like it's the number. So here's the number, and that's going to be header color. And just like that. That's a little better. And then we'll just change the stats and icons to be whatever they need to be. This is definitely a lot softer. We could probably also get away with a yellow, but I don't know, that might be a little too much. I want to be subtle. I want this section to be subtle. I don't want it to, because this is this dark black is such a harsh and what's the word? Visually selfish kind of space here. Like it's black. It's very solid. So I don't want this to be competing with that. Like this is a very noticeable feature. So if we have this black with a big bold color section, these two will clash for visual hierarchy and it'll feel messy. So I'm leaving this here as the solid color, and then that's why I'm making this a subtle color, the light gray, so that these two don't make this page feel too cluttered or busy. So that's the reasoning behind that. And I think that's all we need for this section. That's a pretty good about page, and that's done. So now we don't have uh, the code that makes this work. So I'm going to the kit. I'm pretty sure it's in the navigation with front matter. Here it is. We use this. So this is a little template string that we're using nunjux for. So I'm actually going to copy it with this space. So basically it's saying if the file slug is equal to this, meaning it's like it's the about page, that's the name, that's the file slug for that page, then add the CS active class. So that's what we're going to do. When we go into the code here into the header, what we're going to do, this is the easy way to do it. So this is CS active, that's already on there by default. So if I just add this in here and I don't have anything here, that means if nothing, then it's the home page, then add CS active, save. If it is about, so the about page, the permalink is /about. I don't need this navigation stuff anymore because I'm not using it, but it's about. So if that is the case, then add the active class there. And when we go over here, lo and behold, now it has the active class because now this is true. It is the file slug is about, so now it gets the active class. But what do we do about the dropdowns? So it's the same thing. It's on the CS-li link. So we want this to be active when any of these pages are the active page. So let's say this one is about, I don't know, bookkeeping, right? So we have bookkeeping and tax prep, and this would be /bookkeeping, and this would be /tax prep. So what we would do is we would add two of them. So I would just create some space here, and I'd add one and then two. And if bookkeeping is, boom, if bookkeeping is the file slug, then add CS active. Also, if tax prep is the page slug, add active. So now when any of these are the active page, the CS active will be applied to this span class, which is the link itself, but it's not a link now, it's a span because we don't want it to be clickable. So when we do that, if we go to the bookkeeping pages, any of these, then this will be active. So that's how those work. I'm just going to leave those, and then team. Let's do li. Let's do the. Whoops. I'm just going to add this in here for the contact page. Space. You want a space between it, and if it's contact, then make it active. So now when I go to the contact page, it's now active, but we gotta swap out that banner. So if I go to about, save, let's copy and paste this banner over to the contact page because it is totally messing up. There we go, and contact us. I'm just gonna change that to contact. Okay, so now we got that banner. That's cool, that's working. We have this built-in form for the contact page if you want to use it. Again, here's another design tip. So these are rounded, but this button is squared, and nothing else in the site is rounded. So what you would do is you would go in, and on the inputs and on this guy, you would remove the border radius so that everything has a corner, because you don't want mixed corners and mixed rounded corners. It's chaos is what it is. You should pick that from the beginning. Okay, is this a website with rounded corners or hard corners? Pick one. And then that's how you go about it. If you grab stitches from CodeStitch that have rounded corners, but your design is using sharp corners, then you just use that stitch and remove the border radius. You don't have to use the stitch as is every time you paste it. It's built to be edited. It's supposed to be changed and morphed into whatever style you're trying to use. So like with this, I would just change it all to hard corners, and that would be pretty good. I'm gonna see if we have any better forms for this type of client. So let's go to the contact forms. let's see. I think this one is a form FAQ. This is definitely my accounting ones because it's the color scheme, but we have an image background and I don't want image touching image. That's bad. No, no. So let's see. This looks fun. I like that. I like that one. Or we can stay simple with this. This is another fancy one. I think I'm gonna try this one. Let's see what that looks like. This is the mechanic one, but I just like the way it looks. So let's go to contact. Let's swap out the form. Grab the dark mode. And then down here, so we're not using about. Let's just get that out of there, get that out of there. And let's do the contact.less. Bring that down here. So I'm going to highlight everything and paste. Minimize, minimize, minimize. And then we go over here. And now we have that. But how do I feel? It's like, I don't know, we got image here, image here, image here. And it feels like too much. I liked it, but it's too much. I need something simpler. I'm going to use this one. I want to use this one instead. I think it's going to be a lot less visually demanding. So I'm going to paste that there. Minimize, minimize, less, dark mode, copy. And we're just going to replace that. And then remove the button solid right there. We don't need that. Remove the border radius. Our buttons do not have that. Minimize, 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 save. Okay, and we got something like this. I like this. Let's do that, but let's get rid of the graphics. We don't need graphics here. Yeah, they're cool, they're cute, but I don't think they really, we don't have graphics on the site anywhere else. So let's remove that. And then let's remove the code that makes them or that styles them. That should be at the bottom. Graphics and stuff are usually at the bottom, especially if they're floating. So graphic, graphic, graphic. Let's remove that just to be lean. Do we have anything in here? No. Anything in here? Okay, so this is just for the graphics. So we can remove that because we're not using the graphics. So now we just lost the media query. So that's cool. So those guys are gone. Again, we have circles and rounded inputs and image. So we need to go ahead and let's just get border radius. And everywhere we see it, let's remove it. 1, 2, 3, and looks like we got that yellow up there. That's a match. And 4. Let's remove all the border radius. And now we have something that's a little more on brand. So this is gray, so it looks like it has an override. So we're going to remove that for the topper so that goes back to yellow. That button has a border on it, which is kind of weird. So let's go to the submit because that's the override for that. Because this is a submit button. And we just need to do border none. There we go. Remove that border. Now it's looking fine. And I think what we could do to spice this up, I'm going to make this border right here. I'm going to make that the brand yellow. So that looks like an icon wrapper. And change that to var primary. And I think what I'll do, I don't know if I like that. I might have to download. I'll have to download these, save them, and then change their fill colors in the SVG to actually to actual yellow. But I don't know if I like the way that looks. It's too look at me is what that is. Yeah, that's more subtle. I like that better. I tried something, but I didn't like it. And then I'll obviously swap these images out. But that's my contact page. That's cool. I also like to add my reviews at the bottom of my contact as well. So let's grab local here, reviews, contact. Let's put the reviews at the bottom here. Save. Let's go to about. Let's find my reviews component right here. Grab that. Go to contact. And at the bottom of the contact page, not outside the end block, inside the end block. Paste, save. Now I got reviews. Look how easy that was. Perfect. Okay, so I got that. I think that's it for that page. Now let's do a bookkeeping page. This is going to be an interior page, and those are going to be like content heavy pages. So we don't necessarily have to make like a fancy home page or about page like style type page for these things. Like it just has to display the content and rank because these are going to be content heavy. And this is these are the pages you want. They're called content silos, where it is dedicated to that one service and it has like more than 800 words on it. So I am going to create that page. And the way we do that is we have this template.txt. This is basically all of your base template that you need to make one of these. So like we have about, when we go up here, it has everything you need, and it's got the template blocks. If you need to add a unique style sheet for that page, this inserts it into the base .html, which is in the layouts. So this base.html, this page is loaded the same on every page, and all that's changing is the front matter on top of all of the HTML documents. It's pulling those variables and it's replacing them with everything. Like the body, this block is what this is, this body block. So it's inserting all of this into that base HTML body tag. So that's how the pages are being statically generated. It's using the same base template, but inserting only page-specific stuff that's on here. So you get that with this template. And I'm going to copy, I'm going to do new, I'm going to paste and save. And this is going to be in pages. We're going to call it bookkeeping.html. And then when we save, now it's in here. It's as an HTML page, and then we have everything else that we have access to. We're just going to remove that. This is going to be / bookkeeping. I'll put that extra K in there. All right, and then this is going to be the link tag. So I'm going to have a special page for just interior pages like this. So in the head, I want to add any specific tags that belong here. So it's going to be that link with interior. Cool. So we're going to have that. And then I also want the banner. Remove that template. I want the banner. So here's the block. This is where HTML goes. So there's the banner. And then I want to add my interior content. So we're going to go to interior pages, and that's going to be content page. This is what we're looking for here. So these are the page heavy, the content heavy pages that I was talking about. This is just different layouts. This is like the standard design that I go with for all of my interior pages, and they do very well. They rank really well, and they do great with Google Ads conversions as well. So just debating on which one I want to use. I think I'll go with this one. I want the image on the right. I'm gonna remove the border radius and just make these make this a yellow. So yeah, we'll grab this one. I'm gonna grab the HTML and we're gonna paste it in here. It comes with a comment tag that tells you how it's supposed to be used, what it is, and why this exists. But we don't need this right now. So I'm gonna save, and then I'm gonna grab the last dark mode, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm going to create a new less sheet. So I'm going to do Control N for new. I'm going to paste, and I'm going to save, And this is going to go in my source assets less file. So this is going to be interior.less. All right, now that's not being watched right now, so I have to go into my koala or whatever you use to bounce your what's the word? Oh, I know this word. It's just I've been talking so much. Compile. So we're here. I think this is our page here. So if I refresh, now it has the interior less. We added that. So let's just tell it, hey, compile this and auto compile it. So now that I saved, any changes I make to this file will now compile into the CSS CSS right here. So we got interior.css. So it compiled, it created the CSS sheet for me that the browser actually reads. So we know that that's working. And when we go over here, we hit bookkeeping. Now we're at the bookkeeping page, and here it is. It's all done. This is my standard interior page template. These headings might not work great because of the contrast problem here. So if we inspect this and highlight it, see it's 2.07. It should be at least 3.0. It's got that little exclamation point, meaning it does not pass the accessibility color contrast ratio standards. So we're going to change that. So let's go to the CSS here. Now the headings, so the H3, it wants to be a primary. Let's just do let's do a gray. So I'm just going to do a white just so I can get the color picker here, and I'm going to do a gray, just something that's a little slightly different. Let's do B1 B1. Let's see what that looks like, and then I don't want, let's see, that was H3, color, save. You're still yellow, so where are you getting that from? It's your interior. It still says primary for H3, so it's not compiling, so this isn't. Do I gotta refresh? There we go. I just had a hard refresh. Control-Shift-R for a hard refresh. Now let's see what that contrast is. 2.14, so that means we got to go darker. So hit this, so we got to go down more. Let's try 9494. That's better. 3.03. Now we got a winner here. Let me just, because I have to keep interior.less. I want you to auto compile. Because I had to hard refresh to get those done. Now let's go into the picture over here. Let's remove that border radius. So that's going to be image group. Let's find the border radius. There we go. We got all the border radiuses. So let's remove that. Whoops. Oh, well, this is for LIs, so we want that. That's the list. That's the list bullet. So let's remove that, and then let's remove that. It's still not compiling. Not auto-compiling at least. So I'm wondering why. What's going on with less? So I gotta refresh it. I'll get that figured out. Either way, we have this guy. Image to the left. We got this little box here that I don't think I like where it's at. I think I'm gonna make it overlap. How are you done? Are you absolutely positioned or are you just relative? Looks like this is relatively positioned. So move this up. Yeah, this is relative. So I'm going to do position absolute. Bottom, let's go negative 100 divided by 16 rem. Right, negative 100 divided by 16 rem. The index of -1, I want you to go behind it. z index of 1. And that should work. So let me just do a little hard refresh because for some reason it's not working for me right now. I don't like that position. I think I'm gonna make it go it's gonna act like a little shadow. So I'm gonna make it the same height and width. So let's remove that height and let's do 100%. And instead of 100, let's do 40. And refresh. There we go. That's a little better. I'll take that. So now this is my interior page template where I will talk about bookkeeping. So this will be anything related to bookkeeping. All the keywords, you're going to put them in your headings with the paragraphs. You start with an H2, and then if you're still talking about the same topic, but then you have subcategories in that topic, then you jump down to an H3, and in those little sections, if there's further subtopics in those sections, you use an H4 to 4 to 6, and you just keep doing that. And then when you reach a new topic that's not related to any of this, you start a new H2. And then you keep going down with H3s if it's another related topic. And then when you get to the next section, you do another H2. So all of these, like if you add a list, a paragraph tag, a heading, they're all styled based on their tag up here, right? So that whatever you paste in there will work. Like you don't have to style it. Now, you're going to get, if you work with like an SEO person or you have someone write you something, let me grab, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to get one that I did recently. I'm just going to do this off screen really quick. This will be an actual thing that I had to work on. Just got to grab it really quick. Okay. So I'm going to remove any, I guess, identifiable information. Okay, I think that's good. So I have this. I got this from my my SEO partner. He wrote this page about structural foundation repair in Boulder, Colorado. So when you look at this, normally you'd have to hard code every heading, every paragraph, and add it manually, which is a pain in the butt. Or what I do is I copy all of this, right? I get this, I copy it, and there's a service that I use. So I take the text and I want to paste it. I want to convert it to Markdown. So I go to this site right here. I'm not even going to try it, but this site right here, and then you just click on left click anywhere and then Control V to paste. Now it converted that rich text into Markdown for me. And then I highlight with Control A to copy, to select everything, and then Control C to copy. And then I go to this site where I convert Markdown to HTML. So I go here, I paste my Markdown, convert to HTML, and now it has everything done for me. So I just Control A to select, Control C to copy, and when I go into the code, this content page, so wherever it has the H1, I literally just go all the way down and I paste. Obviously this looks ugly, so I got to highlight all of this and tab so it's on the line. The only thing I have to do is on my H1s, I have to do a class of CS title. That's it. I'll do that on your H1. Now when I save, well, I got to save first. Save. Now it has everything entered in for me. It's styled. It has all the H3s done for me. And I'm done. Like I just added all that text to this page in less than 30 seconds. This used to take me, some time. Then not 30 seconds because I'd have to copy and paste everything into their own individual tags one by one. Every paragraph is a separate P tag I had to make. Every heading, everything. The list, I had to copy and paste the list items. So this method that I kind of created, where I take rich text from like Google Docs or Microsoft Word, and then I paste it into a Markdown converter that converts rich text to Markdown, and then I convert that Markdown into HTML, and I get those tags and I paste it in my content page, and all of my styles are done on the tags themselves without classes except for the H1. And now I'm done. Now I have this foundation repair page. Cool, we're done. And I can do this for, I can make, if I had 10 pages like this, if I had 10 pages given to me, all on Google Docs, I can probably get them all done within 5 to 10 minutes. Adding 10 pages to the website. And I charge $100 per extra page to add to a website. So if I'm given 10 pages to make, I could charge $1,000 for that. But I give my clients the discounts. So if they have 10 pages, maybe I charge them for six, 6 or 7. I'll give them a deal, and they like that. They like getting deals, and I like getting paid for my time. So it's a great way to maximize your earnings with your upsells on your websites, because it doesn't matter how long it took you to make something. It's the value that your work provides. And I don't charge by my time. I charge by the value of my work and the value of my time. So for me to add a website, this is what to me to add a page to a website, this is what it costs. Um, and that people happily pay it because that's what they value your work at. So I'm a big proponent on value-based pricing and not hourly. So if I charged hourly, I'd only, for 10 pages, I'd have to charge like $50 or something because it took almost no time. And there's not a lot of meat on that. So that's how I do things. When I run my freelance business is I charge $100 per extra page, and these are usually pretty simple. But sometimes they're a little more intricate. Sometimes I got to add images or diagrams or do some extra fancy stuff. But that's what it covers. If there is extra fancy stuff I have to do, then I can do it. But looks like we're not getting the active class bookkeeping. So I have it on the CSLI link. So I think something's going on in the kit that's not allowing me to like less isn't watching it. Like when I make changes into interior, it's not watching it. And when I'm on bookkeeping, it doesn't have the active style. So I'm gonna have to look into that and see what's happening. But yeah, this is essentially it. I mean, when I go to the FAQ page, I just add an FAQ. So let's go to the FAQ. This is going to be /FAQ, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the contact page. I'm going to copy and paste that, change this to FAQ for the permalink, which is the file slug, save, and that's going to be FAQ. Oh, it looks like I got a 4 in there because I fat fingered it. There. So I got the banner. I don't have to do the copy and paste for that again. And then I just remove the contact. And I'm going to grab an FAQ just for funsies. And which one do I want? Oh, I love this one. I'm going to add this one. I recently added this one. This is a multi-FAQ that I recently built for Stitch, and it's really neat. So I'm going to save that, and yeah, I'm just going to throw the CSS for this on the contact page because it's so simple. I'm just going to have them both pull from the same. Or you know what? No, nah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to save, paste this as FAQ.less. Collapse, because it's just better. My voice cracked there a little bit. It's just better and more organized. So we're going to go to FAQ and we're going to load, instead of the contact, we're going to load the FAQ.css. And now I got to tell Koala, hey, I got something else in here. I want you to auto compile that. Success, great, thank you. Then we got to add our JS. So I'm going to copy the JS, and I'm going to put that at the bottom of the FAQ. So right here, I'm going to make a little script tag, and that's the code to make it work. Don't have to look at it, don't have to know anything about it, just put it at the bottom and let it do its thing. So if I go to the FAQ page, now we have our FAQ. Oh yeah, I'm missing the reviews. I go to contact, reviews, and go to FAQ. Save. There we go. Now we got it. But you see, we got the same problem here with the background. So I think I'm going to do this on the FAQ, which is why I'm glad I put it on its own page. On the FAQ, I'm going to set the background of the review section to the F7, F7, F7. But you notice that clashes with this darker background. So I'm going to go to the item that has that, and I'm just going to make it white. And now I have a different looking review section. It's like a reversed review section. And I got this. So what I really like about this FAQ is when I like, if I have an FAQ just for finance, just for investment, just for tax help, I can choose the different FAQs. And I love the little flipping that happens. Like it's like a little, like you're flipping the blinds or something. But yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of this one. I had some fun making this. But yeah, so if you had multiple like groups of FAQs, this is an easy way to organize them. Instead of having a gigantic page of all these FAQ items, now you can filter them based on what their topic is. So like for finance, investment, or tax help. And yeah, all this just works out. You don't have to do anything with it. So yeah, now we got our FAQ here. That looks fancy. That's nice. And oh, we don't have the active class on it. Let's go to the header, and let's grab that if active on the li link, paste, and if it is FAQ, it is active. So you see that's working. Something's off with the services, but I'll get to that. So that's basically it. I mean, the team page is just gonna, just go to the about page, and we can also add a meet the team, but he doesn't have a team, so we're not going to use it. But yeah, this is the website. I think we're topping out at like a hour and a half, 2 hours, and that was because I was explaining things. And now the rest of my time will be spent swapping out images, making their mobile and desktop crops, converting them to WebP, and then compressing them so that the site can load fast and optimize for those page speeds. And then I'll be adding in the content. I will put this up on Netlify as a demo link, and I will share it with the client and say, hey, here's the website. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Then we'll go back and forth on the content edits. Maybe they want to change icons or do something else different. But yeah, no, we have this big, beautiful site here, and we built this in literally just an hour or two with CodeStitch. So we have our book, we have our interior page, we have our FAQ. That looks like we spent hours and hours on it. We have our contact page. Everything's here. You have a whole website. Now the rest is just the details. So let's see. Oh, I didn't grab the dark mode of this one. Let me grab the dark mode because we're going to do dark mode now. So I'm going to go back to my navigation. Top bar, top drop down. I know it's here. Here, this guy. So I'm going to grab the slide from right. I'm just going to get code. So I don't need to copy and paste the whole thing. I just need this. This is the code for a drop down. And if I add it, oh wait, no, I don't need a code for drop down. We already did that, but I can just add it to my site, that code, and I go in here and I can just add the drop down text and we're good. But all I want now, I want dark mode. So I want my dark mode toggle. I'm just going to grab my toggle, copy, and then I'm going to go to my root, minimize. At the top here, here's my core styles. Here's my list, progress bars. Okay, so it looks like I got a dark mode toggle. Oh, I did add dark mode. I just didn't enable it with in the header. We go all the way here at the bottom. There it is, dark mode toggle. So every navigation comes with a pre-built dark mode toggle. All we got to do is uncomment it, and then it'll be placed where it makes sense in the design. It's because every navigation is different, and where that dark mode button sits in that navigation will be different. So all of our navigations have its own dark mode button added to it, but it's commented out. And if you add the dark mode styles to your nav, it comes with the dark mode CSS to position that dark mode button specifically inside of that navigation. So we have that. I think, I have dark mode code enabled on my side. So I have the JavaScript already. So when we hit dark mode, there might be some things we have to edit, but overall, it should already be done in the CSS. So everything adapts to dark mode now. These are good. These are fine. This is fine. These are a little darker. So far, so good. Everything is adapting well. And there you go, just like that. I mean, because we included the dark mode styles with every stitch, and we use a very specific color scheme method where you only have 3 colors, a dark, a medium, and an accent. So this one is it's like a bluish, it's a blue dark mode, but as you notice, our website here it's black and white and yellow. There's no hints of blue on it, and I don't think it works with what we're doing. So I'm going to scroll down here to dark mode, and I'm going to look at our different themes. So we have 2 right now. We will be adding more dark mode color themes that you can use. But what you do is you grab this, you open up the code, you go to the CSS, and you don't have to copy anything else. Honestly, just grab the root. That's it. So I'm just going to grab the root for this color scheme, and I'm going to go to the root.css, scroll up. See, is it in? I think it's in. Is it in dark mode toggle? No, I think it's going to be in the dark.less. So we got to go dark.less. Here you go. This is our dark mode main color schemes. So we just replace this, save, and now my dark mode theme, instead of being a blue hue centered theme, it's going to be a black theme, which I think matches my client a lot better. The only thing here is this box shadow here on dark mode doesn't really shine through pretty well. So what I'm going to do, let's go to my rootless. So I think I need to do, I'm going to grab that color, that hex color, and it's going to be on critical. I need to get to critical. Where did you go? Critical, and it's going to be on the services itself. So I want to find card group. So it's got hero and then card group. So I'm looking for this box shadow. So let's do a Control F for box shadow, and there it is. So right now it has a dark. It's like a black with an opaque on it. Let's just do yellow. Oh, sorry, on dark mode. I want to do dark mode. So let's do body.dark mode, CS card group. We're going to do box shadow. I'm going to copy this box shadow. Right here, and I'm going to replace this with the that one. So I'm going to make it glow. I'm gonna make it glow yellow and see what that looks like. Okay, that's pretty bad. That is very bad. This should never have been done. Let's make it white. Let's make it white and bring it down. In fact, let's do an RGBA. So I'm going to grab this hex code. I'm going to just use Google's color picker. I'm going to grab the hex here, paste. Now I got my RGBA value for that. And let's try that. Let's see if that mutes it a little bit. So we're going to do RGBA. And then we're going to replace these values with that from Google and make this 0.1. So that's more subtle. That's better. I think I can live with that. But let's just see what it would look like if it was white. So 255, 255, 255. I think that's better. I mean, I tried to get fancy with the yellow, but I think that's better. So that's good. This line, I would like it if it was more subtle. It's too bright. So I'm going to go to the local.less. This is in the first side-by-side dark mode. Now let's find out where that yellow line's coming from. So we're going to inspect. I'm going to get my pointer out so I can hover on things. So you see that highlight, that yellow? That's a border. So that's a border on the CSUL. So the CSUL has a border top of 1 pixel and doing that. So on dark mode, I'm going to grab the CS card group, and I'm going to change the border color to an RGBA value. Whoops. And that's going to be 255, 255, 255. That's a white, and I'm going to do 0.1, 10%. Oh, sorry, it's a CSUL. There you go. So now it's a little more subtle. That's better. It's not as in your face. And that's what they're supposed to be doing. It's about subtlety. And everything else appears to be obeying that level of subtlety. Yeah, so this looks good. I'll take it. So yeah, right away, we have dark mode already done for you. You just gotta enable it in the navigation and make sure you choose dark mode for all of your stitches. And when you turn it on, it'll just work. You don't gotta do anything. The only thing is, I think we changed the background for this. So now we have to go into the dark mode in about. Did I X you out? Yeah, I think I X'd you out. Okay, so about that less. So this is going to be the stats section. We don't have a dark mode for it, so we're going to add one. So let's just copy and paste the dark mode stuff from here down here, and that's going to be stats 316, stats 316, and I think that background color is going to be RGBA. What I like to do, if something has an F7, F7, F7 background, its dark mode is going to be black, 0, 0, 0, but a 0.2 opacity. And that allows the background of whatever the dark mode scheme is. So like this, the background for this color scheme is a certain black. It will allow that color to bleed through, and it can better blend in with the color scheme of the dark mode. So I need to change the .cs number. That's got to be a color of white. That's the white. And it looks like we got to do I think it's a desk. .cs desk as well. Yeah. But I want the desk, the description. That's cs description. I like to give it opacity 0.8. So like if you have a header and then you have some text underneath it, you don't want to just have white on white. So that's why all of my CS text on like if it's on dark mode, if this is white, then this is the same color, but I give it an opacity of 0.8 to let some of that darker background bleed through. And now it creates a nice visual hierarchy where it doesn't look like they're all competing for the same attention with color. this one gets your attention first, and this is a more subtle muted color so that they don't compete, and it looks better. That's a good design tip. Don't have black on black text with your headers. The headers can be a black, but the text underneath it needs to be a lighter gray, darker gray color. And the same thing on dark mode. Have it bright white, but then add an opacity to it so that it's not as demanding as this color. Like this is a very big, bold, demanding color. It's bright, it shines, it contrasts really high with this background. So we need to mute that with the text underneath it so that it doesn't feel too much. So that's what we did here. We added that little subtle background. And if we change the background, like if you go to dark.less and we change this, we go back to the old color scheme, you see how that RGBA with the 10% background opacity, that black with that 10% is allowing the background color of the body to bleed through this background so that it also blends in really well. And that's what we did for all of the dark sections in CodeStitch. Like if you have a section that's black, like this one, if it was like a 1A, 1A, 1A black, the hex code, then the dark mode would have its background being the RGBA 000.2, so 20%. And that way, when dark mode happens, we don't have to have specific dark mode colors to blend in, because maybe that black doesn't look good on this blue dark mode color scheme. So instead, I just use an opacity and let that color from the scheme bleed through into the background of those stitches. And that is how I was able to make sure that dark mode worked for all of these different stitches made for different industries and having different color schemes. That's how we did it. We just used opacity and let the dark mode color scheme kind of come through and just use these same three main colors. But I don't like that. I don't like that blue. So we're going to go back to black. And now everything is as it should be. So I think we're done here. The only thing I got to do is optimize the assets, add in the content, see if I can get a picture of him. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to keep this guy and hope he doesn't care, or find something else to replace this with. Or I just remove him entirely and just have this be a left aligned. So yeah, a lot of options. But yeah, this is it. We just built a whole website in under 2 hours using CodeStitch. So this is what I do every day. As founder of CodeStitch, I still take on freelance clients. I still do it because it allows me to like use the product itself, so that if there's any bad stitches, or if there's a stitch with an error, and as I'm using it I run into a problem, like, it'd be better if I did this. So I actually get to go in, I pull up the stitch, and I will fix it and then upload it. So I get to do quality control on my own library because I use it myself. So that's why I still take on freelance clients while still doing this, because it helps me maintain the library's integrity and making sure everything is working intuitively, nothing's broken, and everything just works. So this is it. And if you wanted to make your own website from CodeStitch, and not having to do the Figma designs, this is just a build as you go. I just slapped this together based on I wanted the accounting theme, and I wanted to have hard square backgrounds, or hard square corners, and some things I grabbed from different design packs, but it all just works. So here we are. This is a whole website. If you have any other questions about this or the process, or how I do things, feel free to comment, or you can even send in an email to help@codestitch.app, and I'll be happy to help you with anything. So with that, I think I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to keep this video as short as I can, even though it's 2 hours. But yeah, no, this is how I do it. This is how I always envisioned CodeStitch working when building websites, and it is so exciting to just do this right now, even to make this video, and just have a website like this come together in no time, because something like this probably would have taken me back in the beginning. It would have taken me a week to make this, even with design and putting it together and arranging. And you saw how many times I changed my mind and went back and forth, and some things weren't working for me, and I just swapped it out with a different design. That type of you know going back and forth. It's not. It doesn't cost you time. It doesn't cost you anything, because you just literally copy and paste a new section in there that was already designed and coded for you, and you just choose the one that you like. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you enjoy CodeStitch even more. And just let me know what you guys think of this. And happy stitching. Good luck on making your own client sites with our kit and with our templates. Hopefully now you have a better idea of how to use the kit, how to use and edit the templates, and how to make sure everything kind of stays uniform. The spacing is good, colors are good, and understanding my philosophy when designing, when I'm looking at stitches together. I tried explaining my thought process and why I used certain stitches and why I did certain colors, and hopefully that helps you guys make your own more informed design decisions when you're making your websites, because design is hard, and it's not something you can just pick up in a YouTube video or read in a great book. I mean, it comes from a lot of you know uh, dedication and study on just the core fundamentals of design, color theory. You pretty much have to get a degree in it, in my opinion, to be like really good at it. And as developers, I don't think you need to really waste your time trying to learn design, uh, because there's just so much to try and do, and it's changing all the time. So I think at best, it's just to understand good design principles, good theories, and a nice rule set. Identify the rule set on how your design should be, like with the rounded corners versus sharp corners, your spacing, the type of typography you use, colors, just everything that I went over when I was building this. Those things that you should be just aware of. That will help you a lot when you're putting together your stitches into your own website. Just knowing those little tidbits, and like my little F7 hack. Those little things like that can really help you tie your design together, and you don't need to be a designer to be able to do that. So with that, I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm going to end this video. And I'm just glad you made it this far, and I look forward to seeing what everyone else can make with CodeStitch. So go to the CodeStitch subreddit on Reddit, and post the things you make. I want to see what you all make with this. So thanks for watching, and happy stitching.